Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Women's Maximum Fitness Podcast. I'm super excited to have IFBB Pro Pat Gosselin with me here today. She is two weeks out from the Olympia. We're thrilled. How excited are you?
Oh, it's amazing. Honestly, it's hard to describe because I've been working for it for so long, but at some point it's like you dream of it, but when it happens, it's like, is it really happening?
How
So
long
yeah.
how long have you been working for this now?
It's my 10th years of competition. But I've been weightlifting for like half my life. So let's say 16 years.
Are you 32 years old now at this point?
33, yeah.
Nice. Well, I usually ask people what their background is. So what did you have any athletics that you did growing up? And then what transitioned you into weight training and then bodybuilding?
No, I guess I'm just fell in love with weightlifting right off the bat. It was just for me, I was 14 years old moving into the big city of Montreal. And I asked my mom to go to the gym, and she said, "Oh, okay, but if you start, you can't cancel after." And it's like the running gag right now. It's like, well, I never canceled the membership, right?
Absolutely. So when you got started, were you just like figuring stuff out for yourself? Where did you get the information so that you got on the right track?
Yeah, so 14 years old, it was most likely, a little bit of weightlifting from a program the gym gave me. But I was doing a lot of Thai box kind of class, aerobic class. And so people don't really know, but I was a little bit on the chubby side when I was younger. So obviously I just wanted to, get fit and stuff. So yeah, I was doing like perhaps 10 to 14 classes a week of, yeah, military aerobic class and stuff. I loved it. It became my home because I didn't have many friends since I was moving into, a big city and wanted to connect with people. And so yeah, that was it became my home. And on top, actually I started weightlifting waiting for my class because I was always early. So that's how it started. Yeah.
So when you grew up, where were you born? Where did you kind of grow up that you ended up moving to Montreal?
So it was just perhaps like 45 minutes away, but it was a big, I was in a small village. And when I moved into Montreal, it was kind of big. And but I was going back and forth because my school was now in Montreal, but I was kind of still in my village. So I remember sometimes, even in the big winter, I was waiting for the bus, on the small corner of my street, just to go to the gym, even like when I didn't have school and stuff. So it took me about like 2 hours to go to the gym and 2 hours back. And I was just so into it. And I'm still here, is obviously.
Do you have siblings at all?
Yes, so I have my sister.
Huh?
She's older than me, and I have a half brother, younger than me.
Okay.
So my sister has dedicated her life to her family, and my brother is in the army, Canadian Army.
Wow, that's really awesome. So are they very supportive of you? Do they love what you're doing?
Oh yes, absolutely. I'm blessed with, I mean, I heard so many stories about people having to fight to, women being able to do fitness and stuff. And it's not my story. My story is very, very supportive and beautiful from my people. So I'm very grateful for that.
That's awesome. So were your parents involved with getting you to your first show? When did you start competing?
Okay, so I was 23 when I first competed. So involved. I mean, my mom was supportive. I don't know my dad. So my mom raised me by herself, me and my sister, and showed me how to be a complete person. And so, I mean, she was supportive, but to what point was she involved?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you said that your mom showed you how to be a complete person. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, funny story is that, my first competition, I did it's all linked to the IFBB, but in Canada, it changed, names and stuff, but let's just say NPC to be more, understand easier. But so I decided to do a natural competition. And so I did the natural in the morning, and I did the provincial, the state, in the afternoon. And I said to my mom, oh, mom, if you want to come see me, just come in the morning, because that's when I can be good. At the provincial, I might not be as good. And I ended up, so she listened to me, obviously, and I don't give good advice. so she came in the morning, and I placed 5th, and the afternoon I placed 3rd. For the state, and she was back home now, and I received like a prize, a fitness magazine prize, from Quebec. And she was like so mad at me and herself for listening to me,
Right?
That was so funny. And now she's coming to the Olympia. That's why I'm saying that.
Oh, that's so great. It's so great. So she's going to be there for, whoop, you froze.
She was also there for my pro card at the North Americans in 2016. So she's my lucky charm.
That's so cool. So it was 2013 that you first competed. Did you start out in a figure, or what did you start out with?
Yeah, figure. I was already, about 5 years into weightlifting. So I was ready, I had enough muscle to do figure already. It wasn't long. And it was great. And then I moved into women's physique in 2015.
Okay. So did you feel like those first shows, were you, when you look back at those pictures, are you like, oh, I look pretty good for a start? Or were you like, oh, I definitely needed to work on my conditioning or whatever? What do you think when you look back at those first pictures?
I just remember so great memories. Honestly, the sport always improve, and conditioning gets crazy and crazier, which what I like, obviously. But no, I don't really get into judging my physique ever. I don't know. Of course, I kind of look at the precedent year to see where I'm at, and if I can push a little more, the conditioning and what I need to improve. But I'm not so much into judging. I don't judge people. I don't really judge myself too seriously either. So, yeah.
Sounds like you just love it, and you are just continuing to go with the flow of the sport as it evolves.
Yeah, I think it's and it's getting better and better as far as my mindset go. I mean, I guess it's wisdom, but I'm having so much fun. And some years I was into anxiety of, performing and wanting to win and everything. And now I'm like, it feels like as soon as I started to let go, everything kind of plays. And yeah, I'm just having so much fun doing it now. It's, of course, I'm giving it all, but I realize that when you you give it your best, you don't need to be into anxiety.
Yeah.
The sport is already 24/7. Yeah. So when you're not in the gym, and when you're not prepping, and when you're not, doing your stretching and everything, you can let go. It's okay to let go.
When do you think that you had this like mindset click where it just was like, maybe you were too worried about stuff and you're just kind of like, because I think I noticed this too. I don't know if it was an Instagram post. You did something and it was over in the last year or so where you just did you kind of make a comeback and you just were like more, I don't know. I understand this
Okay,
relaxation.
so
Yeah.
the funny thing is my brain, the way it works towards the end of a prep, and I mean, we all have our little crazy mind trick and stuff, but to me, towards the end, it's always, oh, I'm so done. This is the last one. So give it everything you can because girl, it's over after that. So I'm always in a comeback.
That's hilarious.
So in 2019, I did 4 shows, placed first call out with at all shows. It was a great year, all big lineup. That's what I love. I mean, all the shows, there is no weak lineup. I don't believe in weak lineup because it can be a small show and then boom, you have 40 competitors. You cannot say it's a weak lineup. It's a lineup and it is what it is. But I wanted to do, the big shows. So I did Toronto, I placed second. I did Chicago Pro, Tampa, and Arizona.
Yeah.
And then I went into, a month of just being on the road. We rent a car, we had fun and everything. And then I started my off season, everything was fine. And then COVID happened. I was prepping already, but then I was like already overstayed in the US. I needed to go back home. And so in Canada, I was very, very strict for a long time. And so what I did is I took my saving account and built a gym in my basement, a fairly decent gym for me, but also for all my people. So my house became, I had a lockbox with a key inside and everybody was just texting me, okay, I'm coming to train. And so we were like, so we had a lot of fun, but at the same time, it was for everybody, it was a rough time, with the curfew and everything. So I really went into mindset of meditation and it helped me a lot. So I guess that's where it kind of clicked of letting go of anxiety or actually seeing it as it is and just not get involved in it because it's always there, it just is what it is, but you don't need to get involved in it. So now I'm more into seeing it and being able to laugh at it and move on, so yeah.
Absolutely. It's very similar to stress. You can't ever get rid of your stress, but managing it, like you said, acknowledging things for what they are. I think that happened with a lot of people during our lockdown. You just kind of reevaluated life, what was important to you and what you were wasting time on,
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So things were a little bit different for you guys in Canada. You said you had a curfew. It sounds like it was a little bit more strict than even some of the stuff that we were experiencing here.
Yeah, it was very strict. Like for Christmas, we couldn't have people over. For instance, it was just like, I think it was maximum 2 or 3% at the time. And so, but I'm a little bit of, not respecting all the rules. So I guess we had fun being a little bit illegal in the gathering and stuff. So I can't say that I really followed all the rules, but yeah, it was kind of, I mean, for everybody, it was depressing.
Yeah.
I mean, we couldn't get out of the house past 8 p.m. So it was, and for a very long time, like about 6 months,
Wow.
so, but I think the fact that, I had the gym, I like to think, actually, I'm not confirmed with that, but that it helped, people around me because it's chemical in the brain, so if we are into exercising and everything, and then we cut it off, it changes the brain, so I like to think that I helped a little bit.
I think that's wonderful. It shows what kind of person that you are too, because you weren't just thinking of like, how can I help myself, but how can I help other people who I know are similar to me? And that's really cool. So you put together this gym. How long were your gyms shut down over there?
I think it was like 8 months, and then it reopened for like 3 weeks and shut it down again. So I think that's the part where it was very difficult. And so basically I prepped from my basement for Chicago all the way. I think I went to the gym like 3 times, and it became like, actually, I went to the gym and just the traffic, driving, and then, not having the AC blasting and not having my music and everything. I was like, whoa, I'm going back home. I prefer home now.
Funny.
So yeah.
It's funny how you went from a 2-hour bus ride when you were 14 to now you're like, this sucks. I'm not doing it.
True.
Very cool. So, so 4 times you competed in 2019, and then when was it after that you competed? Did you get there did you compete at the end of 2020? You said it for Chicago. What was it?
No, so my last show in 2019 was Arizona, which is part of the 2020 season, but it was still in 2019. And so my first show was Chicago this year. I went, and yeah. And so from there, because it's still a pain to travel. We see it regularly, like people not being able to come in the US and everything. So Chicago was, I believe, 10 weeks from the Olympia. And so obviously I wanted to win the show. You always go into a show and you want to win, but I still had, a sequence of other show that I was planning to do, but I always sign only one contract at a time. We're very blessed to have, I think it's 4 weeks or even 2 weeks before the show to return the contract. So I always go one show at a time. It kind of helped the brain to say, there is no plan B, that's it, that you're going. So I was 10 weeks from the Olympia, and I think, it was the best idea to stay in the US. So I decided to just fly into Florida. So I've been prepping from Florida since Chicago Pro. So basically, I won Chicago, cried on the phone with my mom and my friends, but I haven't seen or hugged any of my people yet.
Oh.
So my mom is coming in 2 days. So I'm just so very excited.
Is there some sort of a quarantine thing that's happening between Canada and the US right now, or are you guys
not anymore? But at the time after Chicago, if I wanted to return home with my vaccine schedule and stuff, I needed to stay like 3 days at a hotel, strict quarantine, and it was so expensive because they charge like, I think it's about like $500 or $600 a night. And so plus I was like, wait a minute, I'm not losing time. I'm prepping for the Olympia. And so I would have stayed 3 days at the hotel and then strict quarantine for 2 weeks. So that's why I decided, I'm just going to take that money and enjoy, the full experience of the Olympia.
Yeah, I don't know if you know who Rhea Gale is. She did the same thing just from the UK and sticking around in Florida so that she wouldn't have to keep traveling.
Back and forth. Yeah, it's not what it used to be. I'm hopeful it's gonna get better. But yes, traveling it's different than it used to be. Yeah, definitely.
So, did you pick Florida now because the Olympia is going to be there, or what made you settle in Florida?
Yes, if the Olympia would have been in Las Vegas, I would have gone to Las Vegas, basically. Okay. So when I travel for a show, I like to come in early, usually a week before.
Yeah.
To really get my nails done on place, my hair done, and just kind of feel what the city is, make myself a little bit at home, because competing is fine, but if you remove, the stage and everything, what is it really about? I'm going to be 80 one day, and I want to remember what it feels like to be, in Chicago or in Tampa or Orlando. I want to feel like I've seen, and I'm not so much like a tourist for like the big attraction. I'm more into like how people live, what's their habit, how they they live in the city. So I'm just making myself at home. And so Florida, I was in Naples, and then I drove to Orlando a month out of the Olympia. So I'm now in Orlando.
Nice. So now is this forgive me if have you done the Olympia before? You have not? No. Okay. I wanted to just make sure. I feel like women's physique has one of the highest turnovers with competitors, where people be in for a couple of years and for this reason or that. And it has kind of a more of a turnover. There's more new competitors all the time. So it's sometimes really hard to keep track of, but I just love your physique, and you are so beautiful on stage. So I'm super excited. And, I have some loyalties to a couple of girls, but I'm just thrilled that you're going to be up there. So.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I'm a fan of all the women who's competing. I mean, I saw a post, I saw a post the other day where, they wanted to know who was the three favorites. And I was like, can I comment? Because I do have favorites too, who's my top three, So I totally understand we are fan. We love it, basically.
Well, and I love that. I said this because I had Melissa Tyke on the show last week, and women's physique, because you can do with such variety with your posing and adjust that and everything, everybody just looks so different, and it's got to be super hard to judge, but I love the individuality that you can put into your posing and into your routine. And it is just so fun to watch. It's so fun.
Yeah, I agree. I love this division. We have the most time on stage. And I love that the judge, because we have more poses than bikini or figures. So obviously they make us work a lot on stage for comparison and everything. So I love it. I love it so much. And honestly, I hope the Arnold's gonna have women's physique too back on the list, because that's one I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But
they're not doing women's physique at the Arnold?
Not this year. No.
I didn't even, that is so weird. I didn't even notice that. I was excited for it this weekend, and I was thinking, I didn't even notice they didn't have women's physique. Do you know why that is?
Oh no, I'm not.
You don't know.
I'm not in the secret of of the IFBB Pro, unfortunately. But yeah, I think it's just because of COVID and the time to reset everything. I think all promoters are doing their very best to just manage all the things, because we go and we compete and we have the work to do to compete, but they also have to prep their show. Being a promoter it's a lot of work. So I think it might be logistic or something like that, but truly I don't have an answer.
It's interesting because, well, I know that they usually had women's physique competing at the expo, so I'm wondering if I always hated that though too, because I thought, I feel like women's physique and 212, the men's 212 should all be, on the big stage. Like it just kind of
if you look at the Olympia now, we have both, which I think is great, because honestly, not everybody can afford to go to the big theater some people, they travel and they put the money into the travel, and that's all they have, you know. And so for them to be able to see the show at the expo, I think it's genius. I think it's just perfect. But I agree that it's fun for the competitor to be able to be on the big stage. So I think what they did for the Olympia, having women's physique both at the expo and at the big stage, I think it's amazing. And also the light is different. So what you present, you know, it's like, if you see both, you kind of, whoa, this is, and yeah, personally, I think it's great, but I agree that it's nice to be on both stage.
I see, and here you're so smart, because you provide this perspective that I didn't even think about. Because I worked a couple of Arnold's, and I remember like when like women's physique was on, I was like telling my boss, I'd be like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and then I would run over so I could watch. So yeah, and then obviously you had to get a ticket or whatever if you wanted to go to the night show and watch the competitors. So that makes a lot of sense. I get that.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think, you know, because fitness is expensive. It's expensive for the competitor, but it's also expensive as a fan, you know.
Yeah.
And I love that now they put the live stream and do a pay-per-view, just like the wrestling shows, the WWF or whatever, WWE. But it's just, to me, it feels like we are connecting more with all type of people who loves fitness. And I guess it's because I've been, you know, when I was young, we were not super wealthy. And so I like the fact that they think about that also, or just think about yourself at, I don't know, 13, 14, telling your mom, I really want to go to the Olympia. And mom is like, really? And then you go, and then the show is like, you know, the night show is super expensive. I don't know. I just like to think, you know, that young female or young girls are able to see at least the expo, or even people around here, you know, in Orlando.
Absolutely.
Oh.
The live stream is actually amazing. Like, I'm totally going to I'll get the live stream for the Olympia. I did that last year too. And you know what? One year I was there, and it was really neat. It's a neat experience to watch from the stands, but you actually can see it better from the live stream.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and it was like $60, you know what I mean, to watch the whole Olympia. Whereas like last time I bought a ticket, I think it was $125, you know, for the night show. So you're right. I mean, that's probably one of the best things that came out of COVID, was just that able to connect via live stream, because tons of the shows are being broadcast that way now. So
yes, I think it's amazing. And for, I mean, when I was amateur, my people were coming and see the show all the time, supporting. But when you become a pro, well, to them it's like your job now, you know. So it's like, yeah, nah, I'm not coming. So it's very nice for my people to be able to watch the show, and you know, so after I can call and, how is it, you know, and they can give me like a real statement from the judging, because it's well done and the quality is nice, you know, from the video. Yeah.
Absolutely. So something that you said earlier, that you have a lot of fans like you have some favorites with women's physique as well. So who are some of the people? Are there people that you haven't met yet that you are going to be competing against, or, you know,
I never met Sarah Villegas.
Yeah.
We have connected on social media. But never met in person.
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
Have you met Evie? Have you met Evie? Evie Hein?
No, that's another one I never met. Yeah.
Okay.
She seemed very sweet.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I look forward for it. So my favorite, I love um a little bit of the more muscular type of physique.
Yeah.
So to me, um, what's her name? The beautiful girl, black girl who won, I think was it Tampa or Texas?
Is,
Evie?
yeah, I was gonna
Eve,
say, isn't her name Ivy? Is it?
Ivy,
Yeah.
yes. So I think if she can come just a touch, more conditioned, she can be very dangerous. And I love it. No, but I mean, I love that her density, her around her muscle belly. Brooke became pro 1 year before me, and I was always a fan of hers. I follow all her show.
Yeah.
So you kind of see I like a little bit shorter,
Yep.
more muscular.
Yeah.
But I love all physiques.
Yeah.
I think Anne-Marie from France has a crazy conditioning. I mean, her back shot is amazing. I remember, I think it was in Chicago. I remember I was walking 2019, so two years ago, and I was walking behind her, and I was like, "What's that? What is that? What is that about?" And so yeah, I love them all. I can find something that I appreciate on each competitor, and yeah.
Yeah. I love that you have a similar story to Brooke, that you've been fighting for a long time to get to the Olympia. And I love the journey is so much sweeter when you have to fight so hard. I think, it hasn't been easy for some of these girls. They've been really pushing for it for a long time. So
Yes, I mean, Chicago this year was my first win ever, even in the amateur. I won the second pro card at the North Americans.
yeah.
So to me, it was, at one point, I was a little bit not sure if I was going to ever win a show, because if you don't win in the amateur, the chances are in the pros, it's even harder, So to me, it was never to kind of go to the Olympia, but more of winning a show that leads eventually to go to the Olympia. But
Yeah.
for me, I'm going now, and my dream is fulfilled. I won the show. That was my goal. That was my purpose. So now it's like
Yeah.
everything is just cherry on top.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't want to say it one more time, but I know Brooke has a similar story. She just second place all the time. It was second place. Yeah. So very, very cool. Very cool. So, so how are you doing? You seem like your energy is pretty good at this point.
Yay. Well, I'm doing great. I don't do carbs very often. Even in the off season, I'm not doing well on carbs basically. So to me, the peak week or whatever, the last couple of weeks, to me, it's very comfortable because I'm just basically doing the same thing. I'm not eating carbs. Okay, well, that's my usual state. So, but of course, there is some, a little bit of up and down as far as energy go. But I guess it goes into when I try to go fast, I get frustrated because it doesn't go fast anymore. You walk, you want to try to walk fast, but it doesn't work. So I just take my time. And I got a lot of time because I'm here, and just prepping, and so that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So in your off season, is it like more high fats, or is your protein just really high?
I'm like a strict carnivore. I eat so much protein. We laugh because one of my friend, Justin Miller, is Akeem coach.
Yeah.
Akeem is like a huge open guy.
Yeah.
And I eat about as much protein as Akeem.
Oh, oh.
Yeah, so I went back to my coach Shelby and I'm like, hey, do you know that I'm eating as much protein as Akeem? And he's like, well, that's you, because it's a collaboration. I'm like, well, that's how I feel good. So basically, not a lot of fat,
Yeah.
almost no carbs. Actually, I always try to postpone the carbs. I'm like, no, I'm doing fine. No, no carbs, no carbs. So but I know that eventually I'm gonna need to have some leading up to the show. But
Yeah.
yeah, even off season, I eat like 8 meals, about 45 grams of protein per meals. That's 160 gram of meat, 8 times. That's a lot of meat. But no, almost no fat. But I mean, in the off season, yes, I do have fat, but yeah.
Like are you eating a lot of vegetables?
No. To be honest, I eat the same meal every day, all year round. I don't really do cheat meals. That's what I love. That's my favorite meal ever. It's iceberg lettuce, meat, and oil. That's what I love. So 8 times. So I go to the grocery and I buy like 16 to 25 heads of lettuce every couple days. And that's what I love. And it works. And my energy is fine. Perhaps it's not healthy, but what is anyway? It makes me happy.
So when did you start eating like this? Was it always like when did you kind of find your groove with like a more carnivore diet?
Well, I feel, and I call it carnivore. It's not a term like I'm not trying to fit into any type or
Right.
recommend any type of eating, but I guess it's after my first show in 2013 where my coach was not into the cheat meals. It was like, you're gonna have refeeds, but you're not gonna stuff your face. So that was totally fine by me. And then after the peak week and everything, I felt great having no carbs.
Yeah.
And I got into like even almost being high on not having carbs, the mental clarity and everything.
Sure.
So after that, I was like, what was that about? Everybody was just so down, and I was just, whoa. So I started to investigate this, and so my background is in nutrition. I have a degree in nutrition in Canada,
Okay.
and so it's always been a passion. But then I got into more unconventional type of research diet and stuff, and yeah, basically I've tried keto also, but keto is basically just fat, and that's not for me.
Yeah.
Hyperfin I mean, it's no secret that all the protein that I'm taking is going to transfer into glucose. We know that, neoglucogenesis. But if my body prefers to create their own ketones, whatever, well, that's fine by me. you know. So yeah, basically I'm always depleted. So when I go to the gym, I'm not someone that you're gonna look and be like, whoa, she's so big and she's in, pump. What is pump? I'm always I'm always depleted, but that's a look and I kind of like,
Yeah.
because I know I'm super muscular if I choose to carb, but then I mean, I go into the city and I'm super shred, but I'm not, imposing. It's not, people kind of look at my physique and they can appreciate it because it's not too much for their eyes for the first time they see. And so people get intrigued. And so I get more connection with people than just the shock of, whoa, she's enormous. So yeah, I like this look a lot.
Yeah. I think you look awesome.
Oh, thank you.
You don't look depleted. You certainly, I mean, it's funny. You probably would look fuller with carbs, which is why you do carbs at the end, I suppose. But I mean, you look full to me right now. So
I don't I don't do a lot of carbs, even for the show. For Chicago, we did 160 grams of carbs. That's it.
Okay. Nice.
It's not a lot.
No, it's definitely not. But so tell me, what is like, is your weight between off season and are you always within like 10, 15 pounds of stage weight?
I am right now, I'm 150, and off season I went up to 170 when I was trying to grow my legs. I think it's an unfair statement for women's physique to 10 to 15, even 20. I think that's just my personal take on it. I think it's fair to say that for bikini, perhaps for figure. I mean, if you try to build muscle,
yeah,
I think we should just rethink and revisit the 10 to 15 pounds. I think it's unfair for the ladies. And I think because of it, some ladies goes into the shaming themselves. Yeah. So that's just, a little thing to think about.
Yeah. No, I was only guessing. I wasn't saying that. That's
what no. I know. It's just, I think, 20 to 30 would be more of a fair statement for women's physique, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And realistic. Well, and because of the level of conditioning that you have to be at, you can lose 10 pounds in a matter of the last couple of weeks for some of the girls, especially if they're going from, depletion and stuff. So to say your off season should only be 10 pounds heavier is not really going to put you that much, your body fat that much higher than what it was for stage. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I appreciate you saying that, since I'm definitely 30 pounds above my stage.
No, I just think, there is a lot of cool stuff about social media, but there is also a lot of course, we compare ourselves with the best of what people has to present, but I think I just wish every girl could feel good with themselves all year round, basically, no matter, like, even if you get like a puffy or even, full-blown water retention or whatever. It's just, we are athletes. That's what we are. And yes, we can aim for, representing a healthy, great shape, but I think the shame has to stop. And I think the shame has, it comes from within us, just the fitness industry. I mean, you take the most fluffy puff, whatever, and you put her in regular, journey of just going to the beach. Well, she looks awesome, so to me, it's just, well, I guess it's a matter of perception. But yes, I just, and even, right now with the reverse diet. So now you're not only showing your prep, like, oh, I'm 3 weeks out from a show, look how good I look. Now it's like, look, I'm 3 weeks post show, look how I look. It never ends. It's like, give me a break. I've been prepping for 10 months. I'm shredded, I'm depleted. I won't do a reverse diet. Watch me. But I'm not someone who eat junk. I'm gonna go to a Brazilian steakhouse where you can have all the meat you want, and I'm gonna make them bankrupt. But I just think it's, I would like it to end, that kind of, I look good before the show and I look good after the show, and look, it just, give yourself a break. Because if you're doing this, it's obviously because you put pressure on yourself also. So that's just my 2 weeks out take.
It's tough because I think as athletes, if you're on social media, people are trying to figure out what content they need to put out there. And you do feel like you're in the public eye. So you want to be sharing stuff, but yeah, you want it to be, genuine. And like you said, without that pressure of, what other people are going to think and what they, and people are very vocal with their judgments as well. And that makes it really tough also.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, you expose yourself to the judgment.
Yeah.
I've seen a huge difference for me because I kind of slowed down social media quite a lot in the off season. And I was like, oh, that anxiety wasn't even real.
Yeah.
It's not even real life. I mean, you just shut it down for 3 days and it's gone.
Yeah.
So yes, there is critique, but the more you expose yourself, the more critique you're gonna have. And at some point you said something, you said, people try to figure it out, what to put on social media and I'm so done with that. I do whatever I want. You like it, you don't like it, it's on you.
Right.
To me, it's just, right now, I can have a week where I'm posting, 10 story a day, and then 1 week I'm not posting at all. And then people say, well, she's not consistent on her posting. Oh no, but I'm very consistent with my training and very consistent on being, the best I can be. So that's my main focus. And I'm here prepping away from home, not seeing my people. So if I miss them and I want to post 10, 20, 30 story a day, that I'm going to do it, like it or not. Guess what? You clicked on the icon to see it.
Yeah.
I'm not much on social media. People think I'm very much on social media because I can post a lot of story, but it takes 2 minutes to post it. Then I'm off.
Yeah. I 100% agree. And this has been, it's kind of like, for me, I feel like this transition of, it's part of the reason why I wanted to do the podcast and where my social media doesn't mean as much to me. And I want the podcast to grow. So I'm like, the last thing I posted was something about my daughter's birthday. It's been 4 or 5 days. And it's just like, the podcast is growing and that's what I want to focus on. And then, I'm raising my daughter. Like you said, you live your life, whether people see it on social media or not. That's what you're consistent with is your life that you are, that you're passionate about. And that, like you said, the pressure that people have to post or share they're putting it on themselves 100%.
Yeah. And I feel social media is going to be there forever now. It will never go away. It is what it is. And then we have to find a way to manage how we feel about it. And how, to me, it's like, I like to connect with people. I like people to see that I'm a fool. I am a fool. The other day I went to the gym and obviously I'm starving. And I put a Krispy Kreme shirt on because that's what and you know what? That means that I actually walked into a Krispy Kreme and watched all the donut just to get a t-shirt. And that's what people, so yeah, it's gonna be there. Sometimes I don't want to post because I'm not into, and then I'm like, some people reach out and we inspire more people than we think we do. A lot more. And that's the focus on, if I'm posting and there is, I don't know, 100 people who doesn't like it, who don't like it, but there is that girl who, I don't know, wasn't in the mood to go to the gym that day. And she's like, oh, what Pat would do, then that's it. It's worth it.
Yeah.
So when you post and you're like, oh, is this, because let's be honest, we all have a list of person that if we post and they kind of like your post, you're like, I'm good. I did a great job. It's approved, and you laugh because it's true. But people don't say that,
I always used to think that if John Meadows liked my post, I was like, doing good. You always
So
get geeked. Yeah.
But guess what? One day that person just is not on social media and you feel like crap because that person didn't see your post and didn't like. So you gotta, balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
It's true. And I think that's the bravery in it as well. People kind of, like I said, it is what it is. It's a big deal and it's not a big deal. But like you said, you have the opportunity where you can be impacting people's lives. And, and if you aren't posting stuff or sharing your life, there's no way that you're going to be doing that. So I think there is a responsibility that falls onto it as well. So figuring out that balance between, having a lot of anxiety about what to post versus, oh, I'm going to do this because I want to, I like it, I feel like it, and it probably is going to help somebody is kind of like where the mindset has to be.
But can you see how much time we spend analyzing this thing? It's crazy. No, but I mean, just be honest. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, even if you're the most famous person in your industry, let's say like you take Mr. Olympia, is like the most famous in the industry, let's say.
Okay.
Well, you go into another industry, let's say surfing or skateboarding or whatever, they don't know who that person is.
Yeah.
So even if you're the most famous of your own field,
yeah,
doesn't really mean anything.
Well, even in our industry, because like I'll talk to other people and I'll just be like, oh, this person, and they're like, oh, I don't follow that person, I don't know who that is,
Right.
and vice versa, and you're just like you don't love bodybuilding, do you? No.
Well, some people actually they watch the shows, but they don't really care about who is who.
Right.
There are people who actually just enjoy the show, but don't want to go into that, more personal kind of following. So there is a lot of different type of, love for fitness. Some people, they just love to rock the expo. Some people, they hate it. Some people, they are a simple collector, so they go with the bag and all they want is like a little piece of everything. And it's like hollowing to them. I mean, I've seen a lot of different people, and that's what is amazing. Just do what you love, and yeah.
It is again another thing that's all about perspective. So, and the fitness industry, the actual fitness industry is huge. You know what I mean? There's just, and then when you involve sports, it's like, so
it's big, but it's still very small, and we need to protect it. That's my take. No, but it's true, because like we started with that, like my family was supportive, right? But some ladies, the parents are not supportive, and the city is not, and nobody is except social media. So there is also a place, to think about that, that, I mean, when I was 14, there was no social media, and I was the only one muscular. I wasn't as muscular, but I was more muscular than most people, and I didn't know anybody was like me, actually, so social media is good for that. But yeah, I feel like there is a lot going on right now on social media, and I feel, we should stand together and protect ourselves, because we are already judged by the outside world. So if we start to destroy ourselves, to me, it just doesn't make sense. And it gives actually more leverage for the outside world to judge us, because we don't even make sense between our walls, So I just hope in the future we're gonna learn from, some stuff that happened, but we should stand together.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
There is a really great community, I feel like, and it's kind of a common theme with a lot of these interviews that, it's like even in your own town or whatever, you could be one of, there's not a lot of other people like you, especially being a pro athlete, and being able to connect with the other women who are pros. I think, I don't know a ton about the other divisions, but I hear a lot about with women's physique that it's pretty tight knit. Like the women are very supportive of each other. And
yeah, I would say so, honestly. And I'm someone who can spot bullshit fairly easily. I mean, if you're fake to me, I feel it, I see it, I see through you, so, and I'd say it's fairly honest. From all the competitors I've talked with and everything, I think, it's like, oh yeah, I'm against you. Don't get me wrong, I'm coming for you. I mean, it's a competition. But we can have tequila afterwards. That's cool. and like you said, I think it's because our division is so different, as far as everybody has a different structure. Everybody has some, great qualities than other don't. I mean, so I think the individuality of her physique makes it, better for the companionship.
yeah,
The fact that, some girls get in crazy shredded, and the other girls, they look better if they are a little bit softer. So you just bring your own personal best. And since we are all so very different, I mean, I think it helps for not feeling threatened by other competitor, because that's the fear that avoid the good support in between people, right?
and I mean, I feel like that's kind of like with women as well. You know what I mean? Like we're all different. Everybody's got something awesome to bring to the table.
Oh, absolutely.
Why is there, there shouldn't be this type of cattiness or whatever this, how women can be towards each other. So
yeah, I feel it's a lot different since I'm into the 30s now. Also, I don't know for you.
yeah,
I feel there is some stage, and I'm not the oldest, but I feel there is some stage of life of wisdom that sink in, and just it's yeah, it feels different.
yeah, absolutely.
Different.
Yeah, that maturity, you just have this, I mean, kind of the same way that the lockdown made you reevaluate your life. That's what years do to you as well. You think about, what kind of legacy you want to leave behind, how you want to make people feel, and, you want your life to have purpose, so.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know what scares me is that some interview I do, just like this one, I just get into chatting with the person. It's just like a video chat, and then I close it and I'm like, did I say something stupid that I should have not? Was I too real? No, it's amazing.
Yeah,
You're
no,
doing a great job.
so are you. Oh, I knew it was going to be a good connection after our numerous emails back
Oh
and
my
forth.
God.
I thought, oh,
People should say how good you are at this, because oh my God, you have some perseverance here, definitely.
well, there was, there's always a couple of people that I think, oh, I really want to get that person on the podcast. And I know how busy your lives are. And then when you have, you're dealing with different time zones and countries and everything else. So I just really appreciate you making the time, especially, this close to, the big day.
Oh, well, thanks. Like I said, we can do that afterwards too. Perhaps I'll have other things, because now you have the wisdom of the 2 weeks out.
It's really funny.
So perhaps, that's funny because the brain is so, it changes. Give me food and my talking gonna be so much different. But yeah, I'm just trying to live in the moment and have so much, it's funny because you cannot hold on it. You cannot hold, on it became souvenir very fast. It's long and it's so very short.
Yes.
So I'm trying to get the most of my experience, like if I'm grabbing on it and just want to keep it for myself, as a souvenir. But I know in the blink of an eye, I'll be like, whoa, it's over. Whoa, it's over. So I'm just grabbing everything and trying to keep it, no, stop time. That's it. That's a very good moment. So, and I have to say, like, it's very different prepping away from home. I've learned so much about that, the flexibility of the mind, because I used to be very strict and needed my structure. Like I needed to wake up at this time and do my yoga and my meal prep and my journaling and all in that sequence, not the other way around. Like I was so rigid. And now I'm like, as long as everything is done, I'm cool with it.
That's I think that comes with age. I had this talking with I have a therapist that I talk to still pretty regularly since COVID. And she was like, the things that you worry about, they always get done, right? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, so why do you worry about getting them done?
Yeah.
I mean, the order you can mess up with your, get in your head about like, what's the best order and it's like, you just do it and you just live your life. But, what I love about even what you said is, like you get to a show early, you are appreciating the surroundings, you're solidifying these memories as experiences beyond competing and beyond the stage. You're making it like this huge memory. And this whole journey for you is just going to be like so much, you're going to be like, I lived my life, not just competing, but I was living the whole time. And I think that's really cool.
Yes, I feel so good about everything right now. It's just amazing. I'm blessed. I mean, I remember when I was, 23, I said when I started competing, I was doing my journal and one day I might, be on the Olympia stage. And so it's funny because I feel right now I live my life as for that 13 years old, little girl that I was, but I feel I am also living my life for the 80 years old that I'll be, so it comes from both sides. And I'm like, that's why I'm not so much into the comparison and not so much into, because that 80 years old is looking back at me right now and saying like, that isn't right. So I get the feedback from my past and it's 2 weeks out.
Getting so deep. It's like so enlightening. I love it. You're philosophizing and I think it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. So
thank you. Well, it was very amazing. I'm glad we made it. I'm glad we did.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I have a couple of, do you have a little bit of time yet?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, what's your training look like? Maybe, like your training split look like for the week?
Yeah. Okay. So I do split workout. I don't do a lot of cardio.
Okay.
Last season when Shelby finally, had me say I'm gonna compete, I was I was like, I love bodybuilding, but I'm so done being, a bunny on the cardio. It's not gonna happen. I was into COVID inside. You're not gonna put me on a treadmill for like hours and no way.
Did you
So
were you doing a lot of cardio in the past for past prep?
Oh yes. I mean, like everybody. I used to do well. I think up to 2 hours is just normal. I think it's just normal up to 2 hours.
Yes, it is.
But this prep, I did cardio 8 weeks out to 6 weeks out from Chicago. I was doing hikings daily. And then that was it. So 2 weeks of cardio, hiking. And then this for the Olympia, I convinced Shelby that I wanted to do cardio, but he was like, no, you're good. You don't need any. And I'm like, yeah, but just a little bit crazier, just a little bit. So he's like, yeah, okay, you can do like up to 30 minutes incline walk, no stairs. And so right now I'm more into the optional cardio. So basically my split workout, I like to train muscle twice a week.
Sure.
So let's say I have one session of side laterals, and I have one session of press for the shoulders, and of course rear delt and stuff in between. And same for back. I have one session of lat pull downs, mainly, chin ups, pull ups, stuff like that. And I have one session of rows, rows, deadlift, that more for the thickness.
Yeah.
So I have I do glutes every day.
You do?
Yeah, like a bikini competitor or wellness. I do glutes every day. At the beginning of my workout, because my glutes are lazy. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it's only because I blast them every day. So I have one hamstring, one quad, and I do a full leg workout also. And I don't really train bicep, triceps, chest. So if I'm having a bad day, because it happens to anybody, when I'm having a bad day, I'm doing chest and then I'm happy,
So do you have any rest days? Are you just training every day? Do you train every day? Or do you do days on, one day off?
No, usually, so I train, I weight lift twice a day, basically.
Okay.
So I do, morning session and afternoon session. So for me, a day off would be, some touch up. I'm going to do a little bit of whatever feels like it. So
do you do your half your shoulder, your one shoulder session in the morning and the other at night or in the evening?
No, I split it for, it's like a diagonal if you wish, because mainly there is no half training session. So I do shoulders, main focus is side laterals, but I'm going to do one press.
Okay.
And then 3 days later, so that's why I'm saying in that diagonal, 3 days later, I'm going to do more presses, but of course I'm going to drop some laterals in it, so same for legs, same for back. So basically, and people are like, but you're training too hard, like your body cannot rest. And I'm like, well, you're doing too much cardio, your body can rest. I'm doing just fine. So, but that's in prep, and that's because, and that allows me to do almost no cardio. And that's why my legs improved. And that's why I'm not losing them this time, because I'm not doing crazy sprint and everything. So I keep my size. It works for me. I can't tell anyone to do this, and I enjoy it so much more because
Yeah.
I mean, 30 minutes of cardio, I love to do in the morning, but
Yeah.
it's like twice a day and crazy just to get lean. That's not what I signed for. I'm a bodybuilder. I'm not a runner. I'm not, so yeah, that's my split.
Yeah.
So twice a day. I'd say on Sunday, usually I take a day off.
Okay.
But sometimes, if I feel one of the session was not as good as I would have expect,
Yeah.
I just need to go back and check the bags.
When you do is your session like about four exercises or so, 4 or 5 exercises?
For the muscle that I'm working on, yes, but that doesn't include the glutes.
I want to know what you're doing for glutes every day.
Oh, well, that's fairly easy. I just take 2 exercises every day. If it's too sore, I just go into IREP. If just, I mean, like everybody else doing, it's no secret, to be honest. But yes, I like to train them every day.
Every day. Are you doing 2-a-days in your off season too, or no?
No. On the off season, my prep are always very long because I like to compete many times. In 2019, it was 4 shows. It was 16 weeks in between all the shows, plus my prep 16 weeks, right? So it's basically 32 weeks. And this prep is about to do the same, So after the show, I check out. Sometimes I don't train for like a month. I will do cardio and I will not, eat like crazy, but I let my body totally recover. If I feel like it, I'll go. If I don't feel like it, I'm at the place in my life where I'm like, I listen to my body. It has to recover. And if you try to maintain, if you try to be too strict on your reverse diet and you're just postponing your recovery.
Yeah.
I mean, people, they have, narcoleptic, where they just shut down, because of being, under stress, the body is under stress and prep and everything. And they just fall asleep everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, it means something. You need to rest. It's just common sense. Don't try to wake up and do crazy cardio just to maintain your condition. It's gonna go away.
Yeah.
Even if you do your reverse diet perfectly, guess what? In 6 months, you're gonna look like you didn't compete.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's gonna happen. Let go. So off season, I'm more into cardio in the morning, like 30 minutes every morning, and perhaps training 4 times a week. That's after, the month where I don't really lift anything. And sometimes it's longer. And I don't feel ashamed about it. I go on vacation and I don't train. Oh, guess what? When I go back home, I'm back on. It's okay, and I feel it's some people, they go on vacation and they must train, they must. Right. What are you afraid of? That you're gonna lose it? I've been doing it for half my life. I think I'm good. So
it's like such a great life lesson. You are just full of
I don't know. Well, thank you for saying that.
Because I think people are so looking for the right answers. They think everything is black and white and you have to do this. And, I think your message is really, it makes a lot of sense. If you just pay attention to your body, and try things, you're going to figure out what's going to work for you. And you can make it, I don't want to say easier, but it's going to be easier on you figuring yourself out rather than trying to follow something that might not be right for for you, you know? So
I mean, when you go and you do your grocery, do you leave your car running? It's a lot of gas. It's very expensive. Your car is gonna stay, it's gonna last less long. It's gonna get old fast. I mean, when you leave your house, do you leave all the lights open?
right.
You
No.
need to unplug. You
Yeah.
cannot be 100% all the time. And the reason why I'm able to get to that crazy conditioning and that crazy, mindset, it's because I unplug. So if you want to judge me for that, come on, give me, show me how good you can be. You need to unplug. You have no choice. And it's hard. It's really, really hard. And we all, I mean, all eye level competition, any sport, it's really hard. But when you start to see the benefits and stop telling yourself that you're lazy, because that's why we keep going and we keep going, because we tell, oh, you're lazy, you should go at least and train. And well, it's not competition time now. It's other stuff. It's life. It's seeing my family and being able to be more flexible and flexible to their time too, because they are very flexible to mine when I'm in prep. It's a two-way street, so it's kind of, okay, I have that 6 months where, well, if you want to see me, it's between this time and this time. And that's it. And we don't eat, we don't, and this time I'm gonna be, tired, so no big activity, and they must follow your life. And then it just makes sense that when it's off season, it's switch.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what type of person are you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like what you said, you can't, just leaving the,
Why life would be all about you all the time? Come on. That's just my opinion, but yeah. So off season, no, I'm
balance. You've got a really good balance. I think you.
Well, actually, it's not balanced, Deb. It's the opposite. I'm either a freak or not. But
you
hey.
have found a wonderful imbalance.
And yeah, I think, and in our sport, because I didn't come up with this. I'm not the smart girl. Yes, I'm smart, but I'm saying that I'm not the one who brings all the new information. I was just looking at who's best. There is a good series of Jay Cutler a couple years back, Living Big, I think it was called. Okay. People should look this. It's just, so much great insight. So yeah, you have to learn from people who succeeded and people who stayed long, not the one that just and bye, so yeah, I just and I think the podcast, it's good for that, because people nowadays, they have more information, they have more content to be to look for the people they look up to.
Yeah, absolutely. Ugh, a lot of good stuff to think about. This was such a great window into your life, though. I just love it. I just love it. So do you have time should we do some quick questions before? I want to ask you, you've had some really great messages here for the women that are going to be listening, but what if you had a message from this journey that you have done so far, what would you want to be able to share to them?
Yeah. I'd say you can only be your best. You can only do your best.
Yeah.
You can only do your best. So the question, Yeah, I would say it's at any time you can ask yourself, is that my very best? Is that, can I do more? Is it worth it? Is it my very best? And what is enough? So it's two opposite, right? So the same way I have my 13 years old and my 80 years old, I have my two opposite, because I have the perfectionist who would say, is it my best? Can I do more? And then I have the more reasonable who's going to say, when is it going to be enough? And so when they kind of go ends to hands, that's when I know, okay, I'm good, so they reunite. So yeah, I think life is all about duality. So I would say, don't let one side drive it. Just, yeah, balance.
I love that. I love that. All right. So let's ask you a couple of fun questions and then I'm going to let you go. So,
Okay.
All right. What is your music style that you like to listen to?
I love classical music. I'm not an expert. I cannot name you a lot of stuff. I love hip hop also. I love rock. It really depends on how I feel. I like music. I like music, period. So there is no style that's gonna ever, make me, I don't like that. No, but the mood, yeah. And right now I would say anything that doesn't have lyrics. Right now.
Are you what do you think about when you're picking your posing music?
Usually it's when I get an emotion from, I'm like, oh, okay, I should start to think about my posing routine. I should start to, and so I just leave it as is. And then I'm gonna go do whatever, some shopping and stuff. And there's a song that plays and I just get, the feeling that it's good. So that's how I pick, but I changed my routine, my posing routine, the music a week before the show, before Chicago. Yeah.
Well, what was the song that you picked for that show?
In the Air Tonight.
Oh, nice.
By Phil Collins.
A powerful song.
Yeah, but I felt, it was great. The routine was perfect on it. But then at some point I was doing something and then the other song from Sting just played and I was just not, it's this one. So yeah.
Have you ever thought about posing to a classical song without lyrics?
The one I did the closest was Amino, from Era.
Okay. I don't think I know who that. I'll have to look it up.
I'll send it to you. But yeah, I've think about it. The only problem I would say is that you have to think about the sound, how it's gonna play. And the reason why classical music is played in theaters and specific place, it's because the sound resonate a different way. So I've think about it. I've think about some great song, but at the same time, I just feel it won't show, the intensity of the song with the speaker. It's not specialized for that, and the environment.
I got you.
That's all the thing that you need to think about also,
Yeah.
Because if it's a great song, but it's just, hurting everybody's ears because it's just, yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Well, I'm excited to see what you pick for the Olympia.
Oh, actually, it's no surprise. I didn't change anything.
Oh,
It's the same. Well, I mean, some people, they would say, oh, it's Olympia. You need to change your suit. You need to change your music and you need to Well, I need to go back home. I'm not home. So I'm sorry. It is what it is. I'm going to enjoy myself. It was a beautiful routine. I love to do it. I'm looking forward to do it again.
Yeah.
And so one season, one song, and the perfectionist in me is very annoyed. But what is enough? Enough is, for me right now, I've really pushed the boundaries of, stretching out of my comfort zone. I haven't been home for 3 months. I'm in prep for the Olympia. I'm moving in my suitcase from one place to the next, not knowing the next week. That's all I could handle. So to all people, I'm very sorry. That's the best I could have done this time. But
I don't think anybody's gonna complain. Nobody is gonna complain. Oh, all right. Well, what's your favorite body part to train?
Chess.
The one that you don't ever train unless you're need to.
That makes it super special, right? That's why when I'm having a bad day, it suddenly becomes a great day.
That's really funny. That's great. See, I love your perspective on everything. You're like,
what's your favorite food? You keep it when it's time to reward. So it's the same for.
What is your favorite food?
It's my iceberg lettuce. And and perhaps, some big piece of tomahawk or something, a big, huge steak with some pink salt, and I would probably crack an egg or two on it, on top of it. And
you said something before about tequila.
Well, that's not food. Yeah, I like tequila. I do. No sugar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
Perfect.
You go. So awesome. So who do you think that who would you nominate to be on the podcast? Who do you think that you admire, or that you would like women to hear from next?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, next question. I'm gonna come back to this one.
All right. Would you rather hike a mountain or swim in an oasis?
Definitely
Hike. When you were doing your hiking, then did you have a specific amount of time, or were you counting steps, or were you just like, go, I'll be back later?
Well, I cannot go to a hike without reaching the top, right? So it was hard for Shelby to coach because he didn't know how long, he didn't know anything. So we were more on a code, like, okay, this hike represent the baseline. And so from there, I can tell you, like, okay, so I did, one little bit more or a little bit less, depending on which one I was doing, but, or it would say, I don't know, don't run, just go very slow.
Right.
But yeah, it's,
yeah.
I mean, usually it was about 3 hours, but it's just walking, right?
Yeah.
So, just walking.
Very cool. Do you prefer dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Do you have any pets?
I don't.
No.
No, I don't. I wish I could, but it would be very, very selfish knowing that I travel that much for the shows and stuff, and that I don't have anybody home, so it would be just selfish. So.
Oh, I know. I thought of this earlier while you were talking. How tall are you?
5'6".
Okay. Nice.
Have you interviewed Nicole in the bodybuilding?
Nicole.
I always forget her name, her last name.
Oh, in bodybuilding?
In bodybuilding.
I can't.
Her boyfriend is Joey. She's young. She's a beautiful, long, very curly hair, like super long. Nicole, Christina Nicole.
Christina Nicole. I think I did message her. I will. Yes, I have. She's on my list. I haven't interviewed her, but
So that would be my nomination. I would love to hear. I would love to watch the interview if you do it. You know, that's why I pick her.
Will you message her also?
Oh yes, I would.
Okay. All right, cool. I'll be like, Pat is also messaging you, and that means she's competing at the Olympia, isn't she? What did she win?
I didn't follow, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, I followed. She did great in Chicago. I watched the show, but I don't know about the qualification in bodybuilding. It seems a little bit different than us, so yeah. I'm not fully aware of their points and you know, with the Rising Phoenix compared to the Olympia, what qualifies what. So I'm not I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's when you see them on social media, you'll see a lot of times someone excited about their show, but you don't always know what that, like you said, what it qualified them for, if they actually won the whole thing. It's really hard to tell unless you take notes on everybody. So is there
Michaela in bodybuilding would be another one that I would love to watch the interview with.
She has been suggested a couple of times, and I did talk to her about it. She's very busy. So hopefully after the Olympia, when she's not in the middle of prep, she does a lot with the cows though. So she's busy farming, like, you know.
Yes. Yeah. And so is anybody nominated me, or it was your idea?
That was my idea.
Oh, okay, great. Sounds good.
I think they're going to be very excited though. Like I said, I honestly, you know, I mean, I try to look at it subjectively, but I really think that you're going to give Sarah a run for her money. I really do. You just.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know. I just, to be honest, it's really exciting because I mean, I win Chicago. Okay, that's good. You know, that's a big show, but
yeah,
none of the top 5 Olympia was on the lineup.
Yeah.
You know, because they are requalified. So
yeah,
what is, you know, that's what I'm exciting about. It's to see, you know, where I'll stand.
Yeah.
With the best of the best, you know, and that's it for me. I'm so ready to just take note and go back and work on it, you know, that.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing. Even you don't know what you look like next to the best of the best until you
have no clue.
Yeah. Because people,
I don't know if I'm bigger. I don't know if I'm, you know, smaller. It's really hard to tell.
Yes. Because everybody looks great by themselves, you know. You see pictures on social media or even from, you know, like you said, past shows. But like you said, you take the winner of, you won Chicago. So now you take the winner. Of course, you looked better than the other competitors, but how do you look compared to the Olympia lineup? We won't know.
Yes, and then you're like thinking, let's say Lenka was on the lineup with me in Chicago. Lenka, so I can compare my shape to Lenka. So then I can go and take Lenka and be like, size wise, okay, she was compared to this girl, and so it's just maths, you know. It's like Lenka is bigger, I'm a little smaller than Lenka, so but it doesn't work like this. It's not how it works. So and and like we said, okay, but we're so much different.
Yeah.
You know,
That's why I think women's physique is even harder to judge than, because you look at like, especially the top 5 figure, and they look very similar. Top 5 bikini look very similar. You take the top 5 women's physique and you have, 20 pounds difference between some of them, or 5 inches. You know what I mean? It's just like, and everybody looks great. So yeah.
definitely. Well, for myself, like I said, I prefer certain type of physique to look at, and that's not exactly what I bring, because that's different. I mean, what looks best on me is not exactly what necessarily I like, and that's two different things, and that's cool, but I try to focus more on the proportion and the flow and the conditioning, basically. But at the same time, I was super shred for Chicago, but we didn't push, the carbs. So I was not, if I don't squeeze my glutes, they won't be striated on stage.
Okay.
It's all a matter of how you present yourself.
Yeah.
So I don't try to go there and be freaky. I like to be freaky now, but it's not because you're super shred right now that it's necessarily what you're going to present on stage. If you're super shred, you can look softer. You can, but if you're fat, you cannot look shredder. So I just like to have more options, basically.
Yes, you can always soften up a shredded, but you can't get leaner if you're not lean enough, in that period of time. So
yeah, and I mean, for me to have, that great glutes and hams separation, if you say, I have to be super shred.
Yeah.
That's what comes off last, that at last.
Yeah.
So I have no choice to be super shred, but then my quads are striated from top to bottom and from bottom to top, whatever. But that's not, that's not what women's physique is about either. So, but I do need to get super shred, and then we play with things, we play with food. I mean, I basically didn't carb 160 gram, it's laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was not, so basically on the Olympia stage, I'm not going there trying to be the most conditioned or trying to be the biggest or I'm going there looking my best.
Yeah.
That I think is, the best look for me.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Well, you will. You'll bring your best look.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, do you feel like Juliana Malacarne was the GOAT?
Yes.
Yeah.
For the time. I mean, so GOAT without the T of all time. I mean, yes, I mean, she was the person I was looking up to. Yeah. But I think the sport improves, and I am the one who don't mind the crazy conditioning. I love it.
Yeah.
So I know some girls, they say, well, it's not like Juliana was. Well, guess what? All divisions improved.
Yeah.
Guys, they don't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger anymore.
Yeah.
They are bigger, they are more conditioned, they are crazy.
Yeah.
It's a matter of that. And I just feel, and perhaps I'm gonna be, thrown under the bus because I'm gonna say it, but usually it's the girl that can't handle being crazy shred, can't handle the training or the diet or the conditioning, that are gonna say it's not what it used to be. Well, I'm sorry, I don't know what to say, but to me, I love it. I love the shred. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
So yes, she was, the best to represent the sport and everything. But I mean, I love Juliana's shape, but I love the conditioning of now.
Absolutely. I think that to me, like what you have is that shape with the conditioning. I think as long as you still have the full muscle bellies, it's what I love about, I know Brooke struggles with conditioning as well, but she's got the fullness, that thickness, the beautiful structure. And, as long as the conditioning doesn't take away and like make a stringy look that doesn't have that fullness, then, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, but you're going to do awesome. I know you are.
Thank you. Yeah, it's 2 weeks. It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
It's really hard to believe.
Well, everybody needs to order the pay-per-view if they aren't able to go so that they can watch. You guys.
Oh, but I mean, if I just want to say a quick, message. So if people, they come at the Meet the Olympians, we all have a table, all the athletes. I'm thrilled to meet as many people as possible. I've decided that usually, people, they charge for the pictures. So the athletes, they get their picture and they charge whatever, $10 and everything. So I just want to say I decided that I won't make the ladies pay for the picture. So it's going to be a ladies' night at my table. So basically I'm going to charge the pictures to the guys, but not the ladies. So if they want to come and meet, that would be awesome.
That's so fantastic. All right. Well, thank you, Pat, so much for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks. I can wait to watch it.
Be so great. It'll be so great. So yeah. So where can people find you to follow you? Is your Instagram your main social media if they're gonna
It's the only one I have. That's plenty enough for me to handle. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It is it Pat.Goss? What is your Instagram? What is it?
Pat.Gosselin.IFBB Pro.
Perfect. All right. Follow her on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at buffcake22. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at Women's Maximum Fitness. And thanks everybody for watching and listening. And remember that healthy looks different on everybody. Have a great day.